Well, hello, everybody. My name is Kristen Smith. I attend Awaken Church. I'm either in the nursery with your children or I'm here on Wednesdays doing our community Bible studies or for fire starters during the summer. Today, I've been asked to do a special presentation on 2 Kings chapter 11. A little bit of background that I want to share about chapter 11 is that we have a very evil woman. When I first got this project, I started to read a little bit about Athaliah. And Athaliah is the daughter of King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. So she's not a real great apple to start with. She's pretty evil. And her husband is Jehoram, and he was the king of Judah until his death in 841 BC, at which point Athaliah's son, Ahaziah, ascends to the throne. And his mom just influences him in the most evil ways. She tells him to plot. She tells him to conspire. He is just tormented in these really backward, crazy things that she asked her son to do. One of the things that came about was that Ahaziah found that he was doing these evil things, and men actually came out and assassinated him. And one of the things his mom did was that she decided she would go a bit what I would consider a bit Lulu cuckoo, and she came with the full vengeance and decided that anyone who had slaughtered or had been part of slaughtering her child would be massacred. So anyone in that line of David, she was out for blood and she was going to get the revenge that she wanted. Since there was no one essentially coming to the throne itself, what she decided to do in this plan of hers was to go ahead and take her son's children, sons especially, and annihilate them. She destroyed every single one of Ahaziah's children. And one of the things that's even more demonic, she decided to also pull out that line of her grandsons as well. Very, very sinister, very evil in its depth, that she would slaughter an entire family to stay on a throne with full control and full power. Athaliah seized the opportunity for that throne and took it upon herself to be in that powerful position. After evil grandmother slaughters everyone in the royal household, she thought, I have done it. I am going to be on the throne. And what she didn't know was there was the small miss where Joash, her grandson, was actually saved. And that's the important part of this infant rescue story. Jehosheba was the baby's aunt, Joash's aunt, and her husband was the high priest Jehoiada. And he took with his wife to hide the infant in the temple with the infant's nurse. And they hid the child there for 6 years. And they brought him up in the ways of the Lord and taught him everything he needed to one day become a king. So when it came around to his 7th birthday, what his aunt and uncle decided to do was to make sure that they would have all of the priests surround this 7-year-old boy. The 7-year-old boy would have a scroll of his lineage, and all of the lineage of David would be written out on this scroll. It's also important to know that they gave the priests the spears and weapons of David's as well. And as they did that, the people surrounded him. They listened to what his aunt and uncle said. They listened to what the priests were sharing. And they knew that this was their rightful king. At that time, they brought him out from the temple. and they put him on a pillar. And as they were putting this young 7-year-old king on this pillar, his aunt, who is in the throne room, his evil grandmother, who is in the throne room, runs down, hearing all of this clapping and this praising, and runs out and screams, "Treason, treason, treason." She sees this young boy. She absolutely knows that she's been tricked. And she gets out to the temple, and the people see her, and they see the evilness that she has done to them. And the priests and all of the officers surround her, and they drag her to the temple gates, and they massacre her. They slaughter and kill her. So one of the most important things I think that we need to be looking at is God's mission is revealed. God delivered a 7-year-old boy and who became the king. It stayed in that same line of David, which was the covenant that God promised his people. Also, Joash echoes Moses' rescue from the infant massacre of the boys from Pharaoh. And a little while later, it also points back to Jesus, who is rescued from the massacre of Herod. So as we conclude chapter 11, I want us to try and think of these important points. Who are our influencers in life? And also, who do we put on the throne in our life? I thank you guys so much for this time. God be with you.